Hey, 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 Pajama Gramma's painkillers prescription, chronic painkillers prescriptions. Some of the things that I've learned over the last 37 years that have helped me to cope with chronic pain and chronic illness. Living with chronic pain and chronic illness for 37 years can be a daunting task. Living with chronic pain for 6 months can be a daunting task, depending on your pain and your situation. So I, over the years, have come up with strategies, tips and tricks and things that worked for me to help me to minimize my chronic pain, kill my chronic pain, and create and live the life that I wanted to live in spite of pain being part of my life. I'd love to say that I always feel awesome and that I never experience any chronic pain or issues anymore, but that would be a bold-faced lie. Even normal people experience pain on a pretty regular basis. Our life is about ebbs and flows, hills and valleys, and nobody's life is well, I guess some people's lives probably are a straight vanilla line, but they probably don't have that awesome a life either. The one thing that we always forget about is we don't know what other people are experiencing. And I think people with chronic pain more than other people tend to understand other people better than normal people because we do experience such extremes in our lives. We do experience really, really high highs and really, really low lows. I'm no different than you. I've been there when I wondered if I could take it anymore, if I could make it through another day. And I remember those days where it was just about surviving and getting through the day, actually sometimes it was just getting through the minute, getting through the hour by hour, minute by minute, day by day. And I've had those times, and every once in a while they pop up again in my life. Every once in a while I'll have a bad flare and I'll struggle like I used to, but I don't struggle for nearly as long. When I first became ill, it took me years to get to the point where I took control, said no, and moved on and managed my own health and my own situation and didn't count on anybody else to do it for me. It took years the first time. And as the years have progressed, I have found strategies and things that work for me that make that time faster and faster and faster. For example, last year I had a super bad flare where I couldn't walk, I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't even make it to the bathroom, which it's been a long time since I'd experienced that, so I was freaking out. But instead of freaking out and turning in and not dealing with it immediately like I would have in the past and ignored it to the point of, having really, really bad health issues, I jumped on it and I said, nope, this isn't going to happen to me. I'm going to do something about it right now. And I went on a search, investigating and trying to figure out, number one, what the heck was going on, what had triggered this, because if I could figure out what had triggered it, maybe I could unravel it and I could reverse it. I never did figure out exactly what triggered it. I've got a theory and a scenario that I put together in my head that is probably the cause of it, but I don't know for sure because there's no way to know for sure. Now, I suppose if I asked myself and I tested myself and I really honed in and thought about it, I would know the answer so I could make sure it didn't happen in the future, but I haven't done that yet. So today's prescription, and that's why I'm sharing these prescriptions. I'm sharing these prescriptions so that you can pick and choose what works for you and create a protocol or a system or a process for dealing with your chronic pain so that you can live the life that you deserve. So you can get through the tough situations faster and easier than you ever have in the past. So you can continually improve and have an awesome life. So today's prescription is all about the why. Why do you want to live a life without chronic pain? Why do you want to be healthy? Now, that might seem on the surface like, well, duh, Pajama Gramma, what are you asking me that for? That we all want to be healthy. We all want to lead a good life. None of us want to suffer. And I used to believe that about myself too. But I also learned that the reason I was having struggles and having chronic pain, those reasons were multifaceted and they ran very, very deep. And I didn't change the things I needed to change that helped to improve my chronic pain and my health situations because I'm also I have chronic illnesses. I've been I forget about it, but I was sick as a kid. I don't remember it because I had an awesome childhood, but I was like really sick a lot when I was a kid. And I had accidents and ripped open my mouth so I have a crooked smile, things like that. that, you know, affected me for the whole rest of my life that I never really even connected or thought about. So why we do things, why we feel things, why we experience things, it's important. Why do you want to have perfect health? If you can't answer that question, you're going to continue to struggle and be sick and have pain. If you don't know why, and really why, and my whys always boil down to love. If I dig through and I keep asking myself why, everything I do, everything I'm about boils down to and comes down to love. Every choice I make comes down to my wanting to give and receive love. Now, it might be different for you. There have been times in my life where everything boiled down to money. Everything I did was because I believed I needed to get more money. Actually, it's really interesting, but when I was living that way, those were the times of my life when I was the most sick, when I had the most chronic pain. Is that a coincidence? It might be for some people, but I've learned to investigate and study myself, and it's definitely not a coincidence for me. When I am motivated and moving toward things that don't match my core values, my pain dramatically increases. My health goes down the toilet. And I know that about me now. So now I make my decisions, and my why is this adding more love or less love to the world? Is this thing I want to do or the thing I'm working on, is it adding more love or less love to my life? And if it isn't in my best interest, then I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just not going to do it. I say it makes things so easy to say no to. I used to be one of those people that would never say no to anything. I was already a workaholic. I was already doing, you know, more than 5 other human beings could possibly do. But if anybody asked me to do something, I would always say yes. And the crazy thing is, I would always find a way to get it done. So people would keep asking me and keep piling more in my little red wagon to the point of I actually couldn't do anymore. And I had a sudden cardiac arrest. So today's prescription is to figure out, ask yourself, what is my why? And don't ask yourself, why am I experiencing chronic pain? Why am I sick? Why do I hurt all the time? Because those questions suck. Guess what? You ask yourself those questions, you'll get answers. But the answers are not going to move you toward better health and less pain. They're going to move you toward worse health, more illness, and way more pain. So today's prescription, why do I want to have perfect health? And maybe you just want to ask yourself, because it's a huge improvement for you, why do I want to live like a normal person? Why do I want whatever it is that you want? And ask yourself why, because why you want something is really important. Because if your why isn't strong enough, you won't do anything to change. You'll just continue to stay where you are and you'll suffer and be miserable. But if your why is strong enough, it'll open you up to the infinite possibilities that exist in our world. It'll open you up to the possibility of you getting better. It will open you up to the possibility of you killing your chronic pain and living the life you deserve. Because it's possible for all of us. I don't care how bad your situation is. I thought my situation was the worst in the world at my lowest point. And we all go through these cycles. It's kind of like when somebody dies. It's kind of like the grieving process, because we are grieving. We're grieving our old life. We're grieving the things that we can't do anymore. And we can focus on the things we can't do and be miserable, or we can be excited about discovering the new things that we can do, what we are capable of, and why we're capable of it. So that's today's prescription. Go out, figure out your why if you don't know it already. If you do know it already, just review it today, because you should be thinking about your why all the time, because your why is what drives you. So that's it. I will see you again tomorrow or very, very soon with another painkillers prescription. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome pain-free day. Bye.